Are you seeing things, not just orbs of light, but maybe shadows? Maybe when you go to sleep, maybe when you dream, it doesn't feel like a dream because you wake up and you're exhausted, so exhausted, you feel like you were somewhere else, and it takes you a while to come to. It takes you a while to wake up and realize, oh, this is where I am right now, because where you were throughout the night or throughout whenever, it felt more real than it feels to you now when you wake up in the morning, and it takes you a good few hours. And for some of you, it might even go for the rest of the day where you don't quite feel yourself, feeling out of sorts, you feel a bit spaced out, and parts of that dream keep coming back to you, and you might find that there is something weird about the day, there are some synchronicities, there's something that someone might have said, and you think, well, hang on, didn't I dream about this? But more than that, folks, what is actually happening for some of you, when you go to sleep, and this is why our body needs rest in order for us to process everything that has happened to this body, to this vehicle, but in a way, also for us to recalibrate onto the astral level, the causal level, the subtle level. So from the physical, we then go into all these other states. But remember, we're also moving through other brain waves during this time. So you can say the brain waves are almost equivalent to these states which we go through. Now, in some of these states, now most of us will be in the astral plane. Now, this is where things seem so real. We see what we see. We've gone through the workings of the day, and this is where there are things that will happen and you think, well, did they already happen? And things that seem very, very real, conversations that you're having with other people, that's because you are now in another realm, and it's very important that we are resting. So in a way, this world goes to sleep and we wake up to our other world. When we are not relaxed enough, when we are carrying a lot of stress in us, we are unable to completely align ourselves to the other world, to where we come from, to pure consciousness, to even what we are doing in our lives, parallel lives, for you to be accessing other dimensions, which normally would have been a walk in the park. But because our system is quite clogged up, we are unable to fully enter into these states. So we'll be stuck somewhere in the astral level when we have these dreams that look like nightmares. For some of us, they're so active because in our sleep time, we are actively processing a lot, usually when you're going through an awakening. So a lot of you will remember how dreams felt so real, and that when you wake up, you're not refreshed. You've had active sleep, so you've not had a moment of rest really. So what we would like to get to is where your body is receiving active rest, even in sleep time and even when you're not asleep. And this is where the more you embrace a state of meditation. Meditation is not that you sit and you chant a mantra. Those are ways, those are kriyas that you can do. But you adopt that state and you just fully relax. It will not affect you negatively if you're able to relax. The more you're able to relax into this, the easier the transition will be. So now you must have heard of journeying as a shaman. So you go through these journeys and you go through the underworld, you go into the other places, you go into the world of elementals, you experience animals, you experience all sorts of things in that other side. So when you experience the astral level in your dream state, you are in a way experiencing a world that has no filters. It is without filters. And the more naked you are to this, the more vulnerable you are to this, which means when I say naked, without any patterned existence. So you don't have any resistance inside of you. When you don't have any resistance inside of you, you can call upon this, and this is where some of you will be lucid dreaming, where you can literally control the sequence of the dream, and you're aware of what is happening in the dream, similar to some of you who are astral traveling. So you could be lying down and you have an out-of-body experience, and you're 1 minute you're here and another minute you're somewhere else and you're experiencing something else, another realm. All of these things, folks, are very, very common, very, very natural, very, very normal in a Kundalini awakening, in a spiritual awakening. Even when you go to certain places that are high energy, you go to certain places where there was already people that were meditating, or you go to certain people as well, or maybe you go into mass gatherings where there is that level of energy, there is that level of current that is able to bear you up and down so that you're able to receive, and it creates that open channel where you're able to have this kind of experience. A bit like having plant medicine. So for some of you who have had DMT, ayahuasca, bhang, the Indian bhang, you will weed, all of these are producing an altered state inside of you and can instigate a healing. And you're able to get into these other states which will allow for that deep healing to take place. But remember, plant medicine is a teacher. Plant medicine is here to remind you of what you already have inside of you that exists as a potential. And this is exactly what happens when you go through a Kundalini awakening. The altered states that are produced as a result because of the various mingling of different chemicals, the way that our body will suddenly be producing other stuff, right? Now, when it's producing all these chemicals in our body, neurotransmitters, it's the same thing as though you would have been high on any plant medicine, or that you had been engaged in that plant medicine. So the plant medicine acts as your teacher, acts as a reminder that this is something that you already contain. Those altered states of consciousness, folks, when we experience dreams, when we experience sleep, physical sleep, but then you're awake somewhere else, you can better handle all of this when you are more balanced and not clogged up in your system. When you're more balanced, you're more relaxed on the outside, and you're in a state of meditation, they won't seem so scary or a burden. But for a while, when you do go through a Kundalini awakening, you will go through exhaustion, which we have covered in another post. You are going to go through long spells of this because you're also working with heightened energy. When you have such a heightened energy, it's like it intoxicates you. You are inebriated with this energy. It is like you're high on this energy. And when you are high, what happens? It's not that you're hallucinating, but you're actually seeing things. So when we see mirages or things that are happening, they're really happening because of that amplification of that level of not just bliss. It's like being intoxicated. Like you're on this, you're having plant medicine, so you're experiencing all of this. Lots and lots of love. I would love to hear about your dreams. Do drop me a comment, and don't forget to share, like and follow.